Hi, and good evening, everyone. My name is Albert, and this is Vlogs About Nothing. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your very busy Tuesday night to join me. I really do appreciate that. Um, it's always a challenge. I haven't been messing up lately. Just rewatched like the last week's videos. I've been pretty on point and correct with the day of the week that it is, so I'm very happy about that. What I'm not happy about is March Madness. So sit back, relax, enjoy, hang out with Mary Jane, hang out by yourself. These are both things I'm very much a fan of. But you're here watching this, so I'm a huge fan of that. And because of that, I just want to jump right into it. So if you don't know what March Madness is, I'll explain it to you. March Madness is a time in college basketball where I guess nowadays I can't really give you a good definition because it's all based on betting and odds and point spreads and so forth, which is unfortunate. And that's why I actually want to talk about how March Madness is something that I don't understand, that I couldn't explain to you even if I wanted to and tried. And it used to actually mean something, so much so that back in the day, I remember as a young cat, growing up in the desert of Albuquerque, New Mexico, they ran promos with Pizza Hut in the 90s, and they used to sell these commemorative basketballs that had March Madness and all the different colorations and designs and graphics and logos. Something they've tried to go back to in recent years, just because now some millennials in charge of marketing now and thinks it's a good idea. Because in and of itself, it actually was a good idea, but 30 years ago, And so I just remember being under the age of 10 watching college basketball and loving every second of it. I grew up in Albuquerque, New Mexico. During this time, the Lobos were actually pretty good. I remember Daniel Gibson. I remember there was a time that Tony Kukoc, like I don't know, he didn't play for us. It was Luke Longley that played for the Lobos in the early '90s. Ended up playing for the Chicago Bulls, and true story. Just a lot of that, right? Like I remember watching again. I can't. Kenny Thomas was a huge star at the University of New Mexico, and he went on to play professional basketball. I got an autograph from him at some random airport. I forget where. I know it wasn't in Albuquerque, but I was at some airport at some point in my life post Kenny Thomas career. And this was after he had, again, a really healthy career. Danny Granger was just a few years after him. I grew up with Brian Urlacher, who is a Hall of Fame NFL player, and he's a huge lore in Lobo football history and stuff. So again, like I just remember watching basketball, and I'd go to the games when I was a little kid. I remember my grandfather had tickets. Sometimes my parents would get tickets. It was a local thing. It was like we played in a place called the Pit, which was knocked down and turned into Wise Pies Arena, which then went bankrupt and then somehow came back, and now they're a thing again. No one knew they were a thing to begin with before the Pit was knocked down and renamed, but the Pit was one of those places that was and still is like iconic in that people came, and we had a really really awesome fan base here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Basketball was big. It still is. Again, like Michael Cooper also comes from the area. He is a Laker. He was a Laker and still affiliated to and with the Laker Association, I do believe, or was recently. And so, again, there's a lot of Danny Granger. Again, I talked about him briefly, but he became an Indiana Pacer, sixth man award year of the award, I believe, or something like that. But anyways, he was a really good basketball player too, and also UNM alum. You feel me? Everyone's a Lobo. Woof woof woof. And so yeah, I just a huge fan of college sports, especially because I grew up in an area or a locale that really was very supportive of our collegiate teams. They really were. It was a thing in the 90s. Now, fast forward to 2025, and I'm noticing that for some reason the Lobos are good again. And it's unfortunate that like I feel like the city doesn't care because we don't have the opportunity. Opportunity costs, and I feel like because sports has turned into fodder for gamblers. I mean, essentially, you can argue against that as much as you want, but essentially, when the odds are made, that's, when you're going to get a good idea as to the outcome of the game. Again, that's just the way that it is. That's how sports is now. We've made it that way. You at home have made it that way. Myself, everyone that has allowed for this to become a thing. I mean, most notably, we do have to give credit where credit is due, and in a 6-3 ruling by the good old Supreme Court, we now have ensured the future of sports as it concerns their availability to the consumer in a gambling kind of fashion. And I think that's kind of weird that we're putting young people through that. I mean, it's one thing to put some random Polish table tennis player on blast, as it is like betting upwards of tens of thousands of dollars. Reference and cite here John Oliver's story, link in the description below, also talks about sports betting. I'm not talking about sports betting exactly, only in that it's just a true, genuine, horrific meme that IRL has come true and is a part of the conversation, especially as it concerns supporting local teams. And that's kind of where I want to come back around to. March Madness, that should be a time in collegiate basketball where fans are excited to go support their local university, right? This is a time where that's what it's about. I mean, capitalism has no room for local pride so long as that local pride generates money, you feel me? But what I'm saying is they're categorically two different things. Before sports gambling was allowed, it was solely about pride. It was, all the rage was to win, so that I still to this day remember like battles between the New Mexico State Aggies and the University of New Mexico Lobos. Just going to those games as a student was symbolic of just what pride meant and how it was cool to go to a school and root for your team and tailgate for 8 hours and sometimes not even make it into the stadium. I can't be tossed. I'm not talking about myself. Maybe you've had this experience, but no, okay, that was an experience that I had. But nonetheless, March Madness is just unfortunately another grift for grifters to get your money. And there's nothing excited to be talking about it. And that's unfortunate because, like, again, the Lobos, my local home team, my alumni, they're doing things right now, and I'm supposed to be supporting them, right? But unfortunately, I have no incentive to support athletics that are specifically, it can be argued, made for the consumption of entertainment to gamblers. Now that's different than watching something that is all for pride, winner takes all, and what's at stake? Me saying I'm better than you. That's some good old competition. That's some good old way of settling things out on the basketball court or the football field or the baseball diamond or the hockey ring, whatever it is. I'm just saying that I feel like that about sports, and it's weird because March Madness is just now a gimmick. Gambling companies literally pay a lot of money to universities so that they can develop leagues now and we can sort of assemble some sort of national title game when in fact we already had a kind of bracket system that allowed and a polling system that allowed for proper representation to crown a national championship without all the added and needed stuff that it goes into from like a promotion aspect. So March Madness is just kind of weird for me right now, and I'm sure maybe it is for a lot of you at home too. It's a kind of random thing that I decided to talk about tonight because it was on my mind. I've been really wanting to watch college basketball, but again, I'm sadly reminded every time I try and stream it somewhere random that it's not the same. And anytime I watch a sports broadcast now, I almost want to put it on mute and just listen to some music in the background because I'm not interested in betting odds. I'm not interested in point spreads. I don't care who Mike and Mike from old school ESPN tell me about their picks on parlays. Like, these are things I simply don't care about. Am I a bad person for not caring about that? I don't think so. I just want to watch some baseball or basketball or football. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to hear the broadcasters talk about who's a better athlete and what team is statistically better. Like those kinds of things, those old boring kinds of things that don't revolve around me getting paid to plug you as my sponsor. So again, I'm just saying it's not a good thing. And I don't really like the way sports are right now. And I can't be the only one. I can't be the only one, right? I mean, I don't. Maybe I am. It doesn't. I don't know. Who knows? I don't talk to anybody. I live completely in solidarity, out on my own, with no compensatable life pattern in front of me, and no future or prospects. Which I'm just speaking the truth. But furthermore, some also more awesome and better truth than that is that I do appreciate all of you guys joining me on the nightly. I'm growing out my beard. You feel me? So hopefully in a couple of weeks I look like a wolf. I'm not sure what I'm doing. I'm never sure what I'm doing in life. I'm just always kind of vicariously living as the days go by, hoping for something to happen that is of meaning and coolness and of positivity. But until that day, not and just until that day, but forevermore, I'm always appreciative of your time and the opportunity to be a part of your life, for you to hear me shamelessly and forevermore, roast myself and not care at all about it, because I stopped caring a long time ago about what other people think about me, and even at some points what I think about myself as it concerns, I'm just trying to live my life. I'm trying to move forward. I'm trying to do things eventually, I guess. I don't know. Either way, I'm sure I'll figure it out. Thanks, guys, for watching and all this other stuff. I really do appreciate it. I don't know why I'm getting all choked up in the throat. I was telling my roommate earlier, for the record, you feel me? I didn't think, like, this weekend, I felt like somebody got me sick, and now it's Tuesday, and I don't feel like 100%, so I'm just saying to Sunday Albert that I may have been right. Somebody may have gotten me sick, because from when the moment I woke up this morning till, like, now, I have, like, this congestion. I was describing it to my roommate earlier. It's like this, it's weird, but it's definitely something that is not normal. So I'm thinking that I accidentally got sick. Who go figure. I hope that you guys have it really easy. It's weird. I can't explain it to you. It's like a cold of some kind. It's actually quite disgusting. A lot of congestion. All right. Have a really good night. My name is Albert. This was Vlogs About Nothing. Bye.